also to see the number of staff members that showed up to watch you play. I know Mr. Knott was there, Mr. Hogue was there, Mr. Maneely was there, Mr. Smoot was there. I'm sure there were others, but that was awesome. And I didn't get to see your first responder send-off, but I know it was fantastic. I cried at the water polo first responder send-off. It was absolutely incredible. And Mr. Kahn was there, Mr. Calzadias was there, Miss Steph was there, Mr. Del Toro was there. There were so many teachers and staff members at that send-off, and then more at the section game too. And so the support of the staff definitely doesn't go unnoticed, and obviously the hours that the parents put in, but all of you athletes and the hard work and dedication and goals that you had and fought for. And I know a lot of us up here are former water polo players, and it's really fun to see the legacy of families come through here, and as Coach Larson said, the different influences of some of the different folks in the district over the years. So hopefully some of you will come back to the district in the future as well. But really huge congratulations to the 3 Merced High teams. Really proud of you.
All right, good evening. On top of that, I was also a Merced Bear Aquatics kid, so I am super proud of you guys, and I wish we had flag football back when I was in high school also. So congratulations to Merced. For the girls, Mr. Dibley would be very proud. So congratulations. So tonight, also for El Capitan, we have some section team champions as well. So first, I'm going to start with our girls tennis and have Mr. McCorkle or Coach McCorkle come up and present the awards to the girls.
Hello, thank you for having us. I actually looked it up on the CIF Sac Joaquin website, and this is the first time that MUHSD has had 4 teams win a section title ever. There was in the late 90s, 96, 97, I think Golden Valley and Merced High won the baseball.
Basketball.
Or basketball, was it? Yeah, but this has never happened before. So, with that said, Taswita Goprieti. Susan McCaw. Some of the girls aren't here tonight because they had things to do. Michaela Santiago. There you go. Joanne Casapali. Ava Schneider. It's Mr. Schneider's daughter from LCAP. Anisha Jane. Advaita Shyam Prasad. And Kate Herr.
That is a very fun group of girls. For those of you who don't know, we have 2 sisters on the team, and the freshman and the sophomore actually had to compete for first and second place singles. So that was a lot of fun. So congratulations to them. I would like to call Coach Davenport up for our girls golf masters sections champions. Golf has lots of different components to it that I don't fully understand, but they're awesome. So come on up.
Good evening. Yeah, golf does have a lot of different components to it. It's an individual sport. We're recognizing a lot of awesome teams, but sometimes you're out there by yourself competing against the elements and against the golf course, which can be, if you've ever golfed before, it can be very tricky. LCAP, I've been very blessed and honored to coach Esther Shu. Come on up here, Esther. Go stand over there, probably. Esther is she was the Masters champion this year. So how golf works, it's basically if you're on a team and you're really good, but your team is like maybe not that good, then you can still move on and play in the playoffs and you can make it really far. Luckily, we actually didn't have that problem. Our team is really, really good as well. We were the CCC champions for the third year straight. Esther was the MVP of the league this year. That was her fourth time out of her 4 years winning the MVP, kind of by a landslide. She's kind of in her own realm. And she moved on to, she did really well at the divisional playoffs where we played against all the Division III schools in the section. She got second place in that tournament by 1 stroke, I think. It was very close. The course it was like a weird course. But anyways, and then she moved on to Masters. So if you move on from the divisional tournaments, then you go play at the Masters, which is, it's all the divisions. You play against Division I schools, 2, 3, so all the giant mega schools like Granite Bay, who's really, really good, and all the way down to Division 5. So Esther played in that tournament. She won that tournament with a score of 70. She got first place. She made an incredible birdie that is on video on the 18th hole in order to win the tournament, and that was at the reserve at Spanos Park in Stockton. If there's any golfers there, they know that the 18th hole is a doozy. So she birdied that hole, it was incredible, and moved on to NorCal's at Berkeley for the 4th year in a row, where she unfortunately missed the cut by 3 strokes, I think, but that's okay. We're super proud of Esther's accomplishments all 4 years. She'll be going and playing college golf next semester at CSU Monterey Bay. So congratulations to her. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations, everyone. All right, moving on to showcase with. I'm sorry. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
All of our visitors, don't be shy. You don't have to be polite.
Yes.
To get up and go.
Oh. Thank you all for coming.
Your audience is left.
Oh.
Like Dodger Stadium, third inning. How are you? Good evening, Superintendent Peterson, President Jayasinha, and members of the board and cabinet. For our showcase tonight, we'll present info about the Sequoia High School Intro to Marketing class. Our Associate Principal, Jade Solis, will introduce the program.
Good evening. My name is Jade Solis. I'm the Associate Principal at Sequoia High School, and I'm excited to share an update on Sequoia High School's CTE expansion by introducing the marketing sector this year. This program directly supports our district's vision that every student graduates with a diploma in one hand and a CTE certification or proficiency in the other. It also reflects our mission that every staff member every day supports students in developing the skills they need to pursue their post-secondary goals. At our community day school, marketing has become a powerful addition alongside agriculture, construction, trades, and art. We are already seeing a positive impact on student engagement, attendance, and connection to school, which supports our broader goals of closing achievement gaps, decreasing dropout rates, and increasing graduation rates. Students are developing workforce-ready skills connected to in-demand roles such as digital marketing assistants, social media coordinators, brand ambassadors, and customer experience representatives. These skills are transferable across industries and give students practical experience that they can apply immediately. At this point, I would like to introduce to you Sequoia High School student Rodney Matthews and Mr. Zamudio, our marketing and construction trades teacher, to discuss some of the strides and vision we have for the class.
All right. I'm Mr. Zamudio. This is Rodney. She introduced us. Rodney's going to hand you guys a shirt that we at Sequoia have. Rodney's actually, before I get into all of this, Rodney's actually helped me put together every piece of equipment in my classroom, from the the screen printing, the laser engraver. He helped me with that. He helped me put together the embroidery machine, and now he's helping me put all these shirts together. If I didn't have Rodney, I don't think Mr. Hammer, some of you guys know, has asked us to make these shirts for the football tournament on Friday. Well, when we got all that equipment, I didn't know how to use it. And he asked me to put it together and see if I can do it, and I told him yes, and I wish I kind of didn't, but we got all the shirts made, and we were able to make you guys shirts today too. So we have invested in industry-aligned equipment that allows students to learn with professional-grade tools through a partnership with the local apparel business. So Urban Illustrators in Atwater, he is a screen printer. I think he does MUHSD and Atwaters. I grew up with him, so I reached out to him and asked if I could come over and he could show me a little bit of how to do that. And so I went over there, and he's like, don't go start a business and take my business, but I'll show you everything. And so he showed me everything. He gave me great knowledge and tools, which I can give to these guys. And like I said, without this kid, I don't think we'd have any shirts made. So it's been quite a big help with him. So I like to give real world experiences in my class. Only because if I don't give them an opportunity to see what's out there, they don't know. They don't know that they could do this or build a house or whatever it is. They can work with their hands, they can work with their mind, they can do any kind of anything, but if they don't see it, they're not going to know. So I like to give them all kinds of different opportunities that they can touch, feel, understand. If they understand it, they might like it, they can go do it. So in our class, we do a lot of hands-on engagement. They're able to get an Adobe Express or Canva certification. They have the Google Digital Garage, and then we partnered with Merced College to do the digital marketing, or what was it? Digital skills training, that's what it was. And that was all Miss Solis. She was able to reach out to them, and they came in, and every kid in that class that did the digital skills training was able to get a certificate, and that goes with them. Also in my construction trades class, every kid you have your finish your OSHA certification, you get an OSHA 10 card and a certification. So they leave, if they have both of my classes, they leave with 2 certifications. And so we do a lot of cross-curricular instruction, and that's with math, with English, social science, and like leadership class, they come in fourth period. We combine all those kids, and they're not only getting to learn not just with the kids that they know, but they're getting groups to do, and they have to talk to those kids. So they're getting good social skills to be in that class, and they get to learn everything in there, and they're thriving. I think they're thriving. So I think they're doing good. Some of the slides, I don't know where the slides. We don't worry about slides. It shows in there the pictures that the kids are doing, but that's pretty much it. And the kids are learning all kinds of stuff. There's the guy from Urban Illustrators, and those are the kids creating and putting the image on the shirts. I think that's it.
That's a pretty high-level machine.
It is.
You can knock 'em out.
Yeah.
You can kind of become the T-shirt guy for everybody.
Yeah.
In your free time.
That's it. But I think that's it, right?
Rodney,
That's it.
can you kind of tell us how it is for you? Like, what have you gained out of this? How you feel?
You know what to say. I know. Say what you do in my class. That's all you gotta do.
Do you like this?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you like about it?
It's a fun thing to do. Like I have him for first period, and then second period is construction, and then sometimes he'll pull me for third to help make some T-shirts. It's pretty fun. He lets me make the T-shirts sometimes, or he just has me dry them. Like in that picture on the right, he has me dry them most times.
Did you really put that machine together?
Yeah, with him.
Yeah.
How'd you know how to do that?
With the instructions.
Well, you'll learn in life that men are not great at construction. Way to help them out.
Outstanding, Rodney.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well done.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were doing this tonight because that's my dad, and he started this tournament. So I was like, "Oh, okay." Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, go on, Rodney. Mr. Moody and Rodney. Yeah, you guys got it. Go, Rodney. Go, Rodney.
We don't bite.
Thank you, thank you.
Wait, you gotta take one more. We made Rodney come join us.
She'll take the official one.
Okay, ready? Like right here, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Perfect. Thank you.
For the principal's report. So yeah, it's an awesome program that doing. We also have a high-level stitch machine, so you can do all the embroidery on hats, on vests, or anything like that. They have where you can do like the travel mugs. In England, we call them flasks. I learned over here you can't call them flasks, right? But they're travel, like coffee travel mugs, where they can engrave anything we want, our logos or anything like that on there. And he did mention Miss Solis. Miss Solis has done a really excellent job. I do have to give her huge recognition for what she's doing there at the school and the vision of students. And I think with Mr. Zamudio, you feel his passion for kids. And we see that so much at Sequoia with our small environment. It helps so much. First, I'd like to thank you for the privilege of working with staff and students at Sequoia High School. Our data improvement goal for this year is to increase the number of certifications that students receive. Last year, there was a total of 7 certifications awarded last year. That's 7 total across all of our students. So far this year, we've received already over 12 certifications, and we estimate we'll have about 30 certifications that will be awarded before the end of the year. The different certifications that they've already mentioned, and also food safety, which a lot of students, our students will be able to receive also. These are, like Rodney's a 9th grade student, so these are 9th and 10th grade students that are receiving certifications that are going to give them a head start while they're here there at Sequoia, moving into a variety of different industries. And that's why we're also excited about the Intro to Marketing class. Instructionally, our teachers have been working on deeper learning practices, and we've seen an increase in DOK levels with students answering higher order questions in order to improve their critical thinking skills. With the support of Ms. Austin, we've been able to increase participation in our Assets After School program. We're regularly seeing 15 to 16 students attend the program, where we previously only saw 2 to 3 students in previous years. We've have a restructured game room, tutoring, cooking club, which is a huge hit. They stay, and sometimes it smells like it's, what's the one, they just built a new one over there on Main Street, Olive Garden. It smells like it's Olive Garden in there or something. So that's a big hit. And we have sports programs, as I'll mention in a minute, and we're also utilizing the Powell Police Activities League for students to receive conditioning. Sequoia has also seen a significant increase in sports participation this year. We do offer sports at our East Campus schools, with students competing against similar schools in volleyball, football, basketball, soccer, softball, dodgeball, and just started up last year's bowling. We had the first bowling tournament, and a number of teams came to that. Last year, we would only see 3 or 4 Sequoia students participating, which meant they would join in with the Yosemite High School teams. This year, we haven't had enough students where we had 2 volleyball teams, 2 football teams, and Sequoia will be hosting the football tournament this Friday with teams from 8 schools participating, and we'll be hosting that at the Golden Valley Soccer Stadium, right? Students have been able to participate in a variety of field trips this year, which are very important to us, both as part of classes as well as for incentives and rewards. There's been multiple field trips. Some of them have included to Merced Community College. We did 2 trips over there last year. Again, these are 9th and 10th grade students. We believe if we can get them to step foot on the campus and see the programs that they have there, the opportunities for them, it will set the path as they go through high school. And so the first semester this year, we had another trip in the Dreamscape place for a long time and really enjoyed that. Turlock Flea Market, Del Oso Farms, ice skating, and John's Incredible Pizza. On behalf of the students, their families, and the staff at Sequoia High School, we just really want to thank you for your continued support and vision of Sequoia and the East Campus Educational Center. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, questions? What do you attribute the increased number of students in assets, the increased number of students in athletics, certifications?
Some of it is the group of students. I think we're starting to move forward from the period of students that were of an age when COVID hit, where they're very reticent to get involved. We have a group of very active students. Rodney, usually we can't get him to be quiet for 1 second. And they want to get involved, and they draw on that. There's really a good atmosphere, too. Our staff is very positive with students. They feel included. They feel the opportunity to participate. A lot of our 9th graders, maybe they didn't get to do that in previous years. And so, and there's an environment for them with Mr. Hammer and Mr. Mattis, just providing that they have a passion for the sports, too.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
So now we move on to the general public comment period. Oh, we don't have any. Okay. So we have no cards and no speakers today. So we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is reports and reports. We have superintendent goals with Ms. Ballinger.
Good evening. So good evening. Tonight I'm going to share an overview, an update of our current superintendent goals and suggestions for revisions and additions for the 2026 superintendent goals. So here is the vision scoreboard. I want to start with our vision that every student will walk off the graduation stage with a diploma in one hand and CTE certification in the other, along with college credit on their transcript. As you heard Mr. Shaw say, at Sequoia, they're starting with 9th and 10th graders, helping them get those certifications to help them meet our vision and also to help them at post-secondary. With the release of the 2025 California dashboard, we have an update to our vision scoreboard, so we're able to put the class of 2025 on here. You can see it on the screen, but it's also on all of our web pages, the district and each site. On the current California dashboard, which I'm going to review in a little bit, which is where some of this information comes from, the district is out of red in every summary category, and I'll share that more in a minute. So one of our 2025 goals is instruction. We have made significant progress in a focus on instruction and increasing DOK and deeper learning throughout the district. While you'll see that we haven't quite reached the metric yet of the level 2+ at 80% of the time, we've maintained a consistent message and training, and it's led to some growth here, so we're on our way there. The goal is finishing its second year, which normally it would drop off and we would make a new goal, but I would suggest that we keep this goal and continue working on meeting the metric. There's still room for growth here, and also provides some consistency in instruction throughout the district, and we've really seen where that's helped a lot of our teachers and staff members. The first metric of being at DOK 2+ observed in the classroom 80% of the time. You can see the growth here from semester 1 in 24-25, we were at 55.6. We grew that second semester to 59.7, and then for this first semester, this data was as of December 1st, we're at 68%. So that we've been doing the training with teachers, rolling out different strategies, and so we're seeing those more in the classroom, and you can see we're seeing more DOK 2+ in the classroom also. The second part of that goal is evidence of planning for DOK 3+, and that metric is for that to be at 20% of the time, and we've actually exceeded that one. This one is just seeing evidence of it, not necessarily seeing the 3+ in the classroom, but just being able to see that there's some planning for that. And that can come from people seeing an objective, an activity that's leading to something higher level, or a student or teacher conversation, or even follow-up conversations with teachers.
Mrs. Ballinger, do you mind if we have questions as you go?
Not at all. Go ahead.
So who is responding to these questions? Are these people evaluating or teachers or?
This is from our walkthrough data. So site administrators do regular walkthroughs, and these are the questions on the walkthrough form that they complete every time.
Got it. Thank you.
For our social studies goal, Kim Berman gave us an update on this goal last month. We have local assessments for both semesters, and the teams will still meet to revise them as needed. There's been a consistent shift to integrate the literacy standards within the content standards for the assessments. Since this goal is finishing year 2, we suggest letting it drop off the superintendent goal list and replacing it with a goal for science. Our data analysis goal was another one of our goals in year 1. We focused on creating the structure for collaboration and data analysis and on identifying relative data points. We initially had decided to make an improvement goal at the end of year 1 in English and math. We would like to suggest revising that to make individual site goals. Before I talk about that kind of piece, I want us to look at the California dashboard together. And I want to thank Goldie Vang and Ed Services. She's put all this data together in a format that's visually easy to see all the sites in the district on one slide. So Goldie did great work with that. So our first, for the California dashboard, if you don't know, it tracks results for all schools in California, but not only is it telling us about our performance in these different areas, it's also tracking growth or decline. So this dial is based on how we're performing, but also whether we've grown or declined. So there's a lot of metrics that go into each one of these. The first two are English and math, and those are based on the CAST results. So this one is for English. The district overall increased 3.1%, which put us in the yellow. Buhat Colony High School had the largest increase with 29.5 points, and you can see that we had a mix of increases and declines, and one school is still in the red. When you're looking at this, you'll see in that little blue bar, it says below standard or above standard, and that's kind of the measurement point. So when it says the district increased 3.1%, we were still below standard, but we increased to being less below standard than we were the year before. So that's why we're able to move. For math, we had a 15.3 15.3 point increase as a district overall, and every site either maintained or increased, with Buhat Colony having the largest increase again with 27.3 points, but we still have one school that remains in red. In the spring, Buhat Colony did data chats with their juniors to prepare them for the CASP and LPAC test, and that awareness most definitely played into their improvement. When we look at the math and the ELA dashboards, keep in mind that those are both based on the CASP test, which is only given to juniors and has little personal relevance to the students. We've talked about this a lot in the past. However, you can see growth is happening, and I think that's because many of the initiatives and goals at our sites that we're working on aren't necessarily to increase the CASP, but it's to increase learning, so we're seeing that pay off in the CASP also. The next one is our English Language Progress Indicator, or ELPI is what they call it. For the English Language Progress Indicator, the district increased 6.3% overall. Livingston High School had the largest increase with 22.2%, but 2 schools declined and remained in the red. This one is a calculation of where students scored on the LPAC, but also whether they maintained, improved, or declined. So it has a couple different factors that play into it, but they're measured using the summative impact, summative LPAC. Our college and career summary. All schools maintained or increased on the college and career summary, and the district overall increased by 9.7%. This metric is a complicated one and based on the College and Career Ready Indicator, which combines things like the CASP score, AP courses, dual enrollment, and CTE pathway completion, just to name a few. There are multiple ways that students can meet this indicator, and you can see that we're doing well in this area, and that's largely due to our dual enrollment programs, and then our CTE pathway programs will also give us a lot of points there. Our graduation summary, overall, the district graduation summary rate declined 1.6%. LCAP and Golden Valley maintained, with LCAP having a slight growth at 0.2%. While most sites did dip slightly, our graduation rate remains high with a rate of 93.1%. And then our suspension summary. We continue to do well with our suspension summary metric. As a district, we maintained with a slight 1% decrease, which kept us in the blue on the dashboard. AHS and BCH both declined, which in this indicator, declined is good, and by 0.6%. And then the CAST, or the California Science Test, is a newer metric, and this is the first year we got colors. We had a baseline last year. So the district overall increased 3.4 points from last year, and BUHAC had the most growth with 7.8 points, but all schools maintained or increased on this one. That's all of the dashboard indicators. I wanted to see if you had questions about any of those before we move on.
Quick question. So BUHAC seems to have increased, in several categories. What do you attribute that to?
Definitely their data chats that they did with students. They gave students their where they were at that point. So they used, like for math and ELA, they used their NWEA MAP growth scores. They used local assessment scores. They even talked with them about their attendance. If they were EL students, their LPAC scores were on there from the past. So they had a sheet that had all kinds of data about them, and then they talked with students about the importance of improving, and I think that was a huge indicator itself, like in improving.
Thank you.
Who did the chats? AP, Dinya Amador, and Robert Nunes were the two who organized it and met with most students. Yeah.
Are other sites emulating that?
Yes. LCAP did a little version of that last year with their LPAC, and they saw some improvement too, but all the sites now, Ed Services goes out and does data chats with each site, so that's been a conversation at everyone about, okay, how are you going to share this with students as we get closer to kind of the testing season. Okay, continuing on the data analysis goal, for the second part of this goal that we'd like to revise, we'd like to make the suggestion to change the improvement goal to a site goal versus the district goal. We are looking at choosing one metric, which could be a dashboard indicator or a vision scoreboard indicator, or something that leads to those, and then assigning a desired improvement or letting sites decide to choose from one of those. If we look at a dashboard or scoreboard indicator, we'll want a time frame longer than 2 years, though, since students only take the CASP as juniors, and the scoreboard is measuring a graduating class. So we'd want a longer goal there because it's more than 2 years for them to get to that indicator. Another option that we are looking at here is the NWEA MAP growth. This is a metric we could follow from year to year and really semester to semester for students. So I'll talk about those a little bit more when we get to the new goals.
But just to clarify, the metric would be the same, or essentially the goal. However, just the percentage or point improvement is where it would be site specific.
We could do lots of different things.
Okay. Well, I guess
Yeah.
initially when I was looking at this, it made me a little bit nervous to think that every site was going to just pick their own goal, because I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I think we want to be focused, and you guys have done such an excellent job with curriculum and all the different things to help support these goals. So I just wanted to make sure that we were being consistent.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. The thing with like the dashboard, if you looked at some of those dashboard indicators, we have schools who are in the green or the blue and schools who are in red. They may not want to choose the same dashboard indicator to improve, or we may not want to choose that same dashboard indicator for them to improve. So there's a little bit of personalization if we go that route. But we can talk about that too. Okay. For our Grow Your Own goal, this is year 2 of that one, so I suggest that we remove that one. We have a monitoring system in place for all of these parts of the goal now, so we just suggest that it drops off the superintendent goal at this time. And then our communications and customer service goal, much of the communication and customer service part were actions that just needed to be put in place. So the communication map in the first part there, it's been created, sent out through Parent Square. It's on the web page. We've created posters that are being distributed throughout the district. And then for the customer service part, identified staff have received the Service with Impact training. And then it is suggested that those parts of the goals could be dropped off because they were more checkmark goals. But then that middle part about communication to our families about post-secondary options, we would want to keep those parts because they're really just coming to fruition this spring. We've been working on the 9th grade one, but the other ones will really be seen in the counseling lessons in the spring. Okay, so now for looking at creating some new superintendent goals. So based on all of that information I just shared, this is what the new goals could look like. We are suggesting we keep the instruction goal the same and extend that one. There really is a lot of work to do here and a lot of opportunities. We've narrowed it down, or not narrowed maybe, but there are 10 deeper learning strategies that all of our teachers have been trained on, but they've been trained on them as far as like a engagement process and how to use them. We can integrate them into the literacy standards, into the domains of literacy for some subject areas. There's a lot of still opportunities with keeping with that same consistent message that increasing depth of knowledge is important. So that's why I'd suggest that we keep this goal. For the science, this would be a new goal, and it would follow along with our math, English, and we just finished up the social studies. So we just swap out the social studies goal for this science goal. Science does have more variety of options for classes, but the goal would be to cover all of the core classes, and that would include curriculum alignment, local assessments, and then we really would like to see some common laboratory investigations, just so students have that experience each semester in all the classes. For the data analysis goal, add science and social studies to the first part of the goal, since we really had only been looking at the math and English and special populations, but now that we have some data about science and social studies, adding that there. And then change the second part of the goal to a specific metric. So the metrics we're considering are, one example would be each site will improve the NWEA MAP scores for math and English by 5% a year, and that would be the students who grow. Another could be each site will choose one dashboard measure to improve by 5% by the 2029 dashboard publication. So you could see that would be a really long goal, but like you said, it has a consistent measurement, but they would choose which one they want to improve. Another could be, if we want to tie back to the vision, each site will improve the number of certifications their graduates receive by 10% each year. So those are some suggestions for that one. Then for that one that was the customer service and communication, remove the communication map and customer service part of the goal, and rename it Communications for College and Career Readiness. And this allows the focus to stay on helping families better understand all of their post-secondary options. And then lastly would be, we suggest adding a new goal around artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. Artificial intelligence is obviously a relevant topic today, and we need to better understand it. While we did create some board policy, there is still much work to do to explore how AI will impact our students and their lives. We also experienced the cybersecurity incident at the beginning of the school year, so it's a good time to renew our efforts around educating all of our stakeholders. So, discussion about these?
There we go. Just kind of piggybacking a little bit on what Mrs. Ham was saying about the data analysis, about having something that was kind of, I guess, focused. I like the way this one is written with respect to maybe having, it's an academic goal, and that's kind of the consistency. But sites have the flexibility to address their, sorry, a little feedback there, their specific needs. You know, like you said, we have some schools that are blue, green, some that are red or orange, and having a measure, you know, that's consistent, you know, across that site, but that they do have the flexibility to address what their specific site need is as well. So I like the revision to the data analysis. And then my other comment is on the AI goal. I think that would be a great goal. My only comment on that is that we're including a lot of staff development, not just the quantitative measure on like the phishing simulations for the cybersecurity, but really what is AI? How does AI work? So people know, you know, where it pulls its information, how it should be used, how it should not be used, and maybe developing some district guidelines around best practices, you know, for staff and students in terms of like grading, how it's used with IEPs, things like that. But I think that's very timely.
Related to freshman seminar, will that be sort of an ever-evolving course? I mean, like artificial intelligence, right? I mean, whatever they taught this semester is going to be vastly different next freshman seminar, right? So, okay, that'll...
And there'll be new requirements, like there's a new requirement about teaching kids about fentanyl, so that'll slide into the health part of that class. So as those kind of new requirements come out, that course will be revised. The really great thing about freshman seminar in health is that our teachers designed the course. I mean, they used research and the resources, but it's all housed in a Canvas shell for them that they access. So we have the ability to revise that anytime that we want to. So anytime there are new topics like AI, or anytime there are new requirements like the fentanyl one, we're able to go do that.
Great. On the college and career readiness, I just keep thinking about CTE pathways and the things that the district is really pushing in the new campus that we're hoping to get the grant money to match and whatnot. And I wonder if we should have something in here very specific to continuing to develop new pathways, expand them across campuses. I mean, I know that the district is doing that, but I don't know if that's something we want to add as a goal. I mean, it's been last month at MUHSD, it was awesome to hear about public safety. So I feel like we are putting some energy behind that, and it would be great to incorporate it either as a standalone goal or perhaps as part of this.
I think it fits here very well. And I think that it's misleading that the platform in California is called California Colleges, because it also includes career exploration. But the state of California named it. So, but I think definitely that would fit into this goal there.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
So we move on next to the Employee Association's comment period. Nope.
There we go. All right. I'm sorry. I've been absent for a long time. However, tonight is extremely important. What was discussed this evening is, I think, to teachers important. It's to community important. It's to the board important. It's to everyone important. When we talk about measuring student growth, and what we see as an association is we're inundated with endless testing, and we talk about getting to DOK 2+ and beyond. Here's the reality. We teach the kids at the level that we get, at the level that we get them. Without skill, we cannot achieve those. We aspire to all of those goals, but we cannot get there if we have all of these tests. And what I heard tonight is very heartening, if that's even a thing. The NWEA is a growth measure. I hope that we can focus on this, because this takes what we get and says what we've done with these students. If we can stop taking instructional time by dealing with benchmarks that really are state standards, they are something that a dashboard measures. We want to look at what growth, what have we done for our students. If we can say we're going to take all these other things away and focus on the NWEA, I think I said it right. I think that is a much more effective way of measuring what we're doing for our students when we get them. And that is the one thing that I wanted to say, and I think my entire association is behind me when I say it. There's a lot of other issues that we have that I think we can discuss with Cabinet, and I do not want to talk about those now. But that was the one thing that I thought I might be able to make an imprint on you on, because I heard that there's going to be other subjects making benchmarks when I thought benchmarks were going to be going by the wayside. We're going to focus on NWEA, just growth of our students. So just I'd like you to contemplate that idea. And with that, I will probably be back in January. I don't know. But I do want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
All right. Moving on to item number 15, consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Oh, I'll do the second.
Well, however you want to do it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So Trustee Ham made the motion? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. Are there any questions? Before we proceed with questions, Trustee Pickle, would you like to acknowledge the donations? And while you're pulling that up, is there any discussion? Okay.
Okay, I've got it. All right, the district would like to thank the following for their donations: Cal Farm Service, Ferrario Farms, Garcia Farms, Legendary Barbershop, Juliana Lopez, Guadalupe Montano, Casa Furniture, Panaderia Guadalajara, Valley Fresh Foods, Vida Non-Emergency Transportation, California Women for Agriculture, and Cindy Ramirez, Kiwanis Club of Greater Merced, and Pamela Merritt Bennett. Thank you for your donations.
Thank you, Trustee Pickle. Call for the vote if there's no discussion. And I'm an aye, Ms. Back.
I did, and I voted. Yeah.
Can I mark it?
Yes, you may, absolutely.
As a yes?
Yes, please. I think what I'm learning is I can't close it until the vote. Are you able to close it? If I close it,
Pops up as recorded, then I can.
even if I,
Motion passes unanimously.
it's saying it recorded my vote, but the two times that I closed it, even after it said that, then it didn't show up on the minute. So I will stop doing it.
All right, I'm moving on to item number 16, the action agenda. Proposed district calendar for 2027-28. Mr. Nicholson?
Good evening. Tonight Good evening. I was excited to talk about our proposed calendar. So tonight we submit the proposed 2027-28 school calendar for a first read. The district calendar is adopted annually by the Board of Trustees. We coordinate with feeder districts to build a collaborative calendar so that feeder districts understand where we're going. That helps families be able to do future planning. Some of the other variables we take into consideration are holidays defined in Ed Code, Thanksgiving week, conclusion of the first semester prior to winter break, the placement of spring and February recesses. We've also included a resolution in there to move the celebration of Lincoln Day to February 25th, 2028. So the superintendent submits the proposed calendar for a first read with with the option to waive a second read if you'd like to approve tonight. And adopt the resolution. Thank you, Mrs. Rohrbeck.
Do I have a motion to approve? Waive the first reading and adopt resolution to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I have a question, so
Yes.
I can second it, but the graduation date is both on here as May 31st and June 1st?
Yep, May 31st is the alternative education graduations, and
Okay.
we've gotten a lot of feedback from students that they want to be recognized on the calendar, so.
Oh, okay.
So-
Very good, all right.
Yes,
Awesome
Ms.
that
Rose has-
school's done May 31st.
All right, any other further discussion? Call for the vote. I'm an aye, Ms. Rohrbeck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rohrbeck, oh, did it come up?
Yes.
Oh, I did? Okay, motion passes unanimously.
Yes, it did, I'm sorry.
That's okay. First interim report, Dr. Weimer.
All right, good evening. So had to start with a nice little picture. This kind of explains budgeting in the state of California right now for schools. We're in a nice big bus rolling along on a very narrow road. Everything is fine as long as you stay on the road. And right next to it is a nice major cliff. And I'll go over what the cliff is here on a few slides. The good, We did get a fiscal update from the state of California from the Department of Finance. It comes out in October. And so we do see that personal income tax is up, even though corporate tax and sales tax is down. So the state is up, though, on its tax receipts so far. And again, personal income tax in California basically means the Bay Area and the stock market is doing well, so California is doing well. So we do have larger than expected revenues, which is the good news. The bad news, there's a bunch of headlines for you to read, everywhere from districts expecting a $43 million deficit, $7.5 million lawsuits over sexual abuse cases from decades ago, where nobody in the district even had any recollection of who was employed at the time. Districts losing million for grants from the federal government. So those are the things that are going on around the edges now. And this is the one that nobody seems to worry about, but this is the one that worries me the most. Supreme Court allowed President Trump to withhold $4 billion in federal aid funding. And so basically what happened was he was allowed to hold the funds, not distribute the funds, wait till the calendar year or the fiscal year ended, and then just said, I'm not going to spend it. And the problem is, if he can do it with that $4 billion, he can do it with any $4 billion. And so we go back to where we were this summer, where they were withholding funds. They basically got enough pressure that they released all of those funds. There's areas where they're not in agreement. We'll look at here in just a second. Could this happen into education in the future? So that's one of the things that we do have to play in the back of our mind. Which leads us to this slide. This is federal funding. The President and the House and the Senate are pretty much on the same page in Title I Special Ed and CTE, so we don't think there's going to be any issues there. They are not in agreement, which brings us to that previous slide. If somehow there wants to be some type of political gamesmanship going on, these are the funds that would be involved in that, and you can see how much of that we get. So for Title II, which is supporting effective instruction, we get $565,000. For English language acquisition, we get $188,000. Student support and academic enrichment, which is our assets program, $398,000. And then McKinney-Vento, we get $79,000 for our homeless program. So those are areas that the President, the House, and the Senate are not in agreement. So those are areas that when we do the budget, we're going to be very careful on how we budget those and whether we are expecting to get those or not. So here's the cliff. Those categoricals I just listed could be $1.25 million for us. So if anything happens in that area, that's the potential loss there. If ADA or attendance were to take a dive, that could become a big one for us. California, even though I said revenues are up, they played games with the budget the last 2 years, and so they do technically have a $21 billion deficit. Thanks to Prop 98, almost all of that has to be taken care of outside of education. So it's probably not going to be our problem, but we do have to watch that. Proposition 30 and 55 is a long-term issue that's coming up. Those are two tax bills, income tax on higher earners, that expire in 2030. And if that were to expire, that's billions of dollars that comes away from education, because that is specifically targeted for education. So if those don't get renewed 2030, there's a large impact to education with those propositions expiring. AI bubble, we saw that everything is going wonderful in California because the stock market's going wonderful. If the AI bubble bursts, what does that mean for Silicon Valley? What does that mean for personal income in that area? What does that mean for budgets for the state of California? Changes to LCFF, all of the big districts want to take our money. They don't say it that way, but that's basically what they want. They always make it sound like, well, we'll just make changes in the future, and then all new money goes to them. Yeah, so we're watching those types of things. State actions, they're passing bills without impact, watching out what the impact is going to be. AB 218 was well-intended. It was for sexual abuse victims, but it's holding districts' responsibility for things that happened 30, 40 years ago that our district and our budget had nothing to do with. Nobody involved was even around at those times, but yet we have to be able to build those in. And even if we don't have any of those cases, our insurance went through the roof to cover those expenses. Step and column, COLA, and health insurance are always topics, and when we look at whether we're going to be increasing or decreasing enrollment, that's one that always comes up. And Medicare billing and federal state Title IX court case, those are ones that the cuts might be coming, and we might not see them right away. They might be coming in a year or two. So they did change some things to Medicare, and if that affects us, we could see in a year or two from now $300,000 to $500,000 difference on what we're getting back from our Medicare billing if those rules go into effect and they negatively impact us, but we won't know that until they go into effect for a year. Budgeting during uncertainty. So we currently budget using estimates from previous years of all allocations based on formulas. We often do not get all the money up front. Some of it we get up front. Some of it we get in several payments throughout the year. Some of it we get after we've expended the money and we send receipts in. We're going to have to shift towards looking at all of the stable funding and being very, very careful on how we spend all the ones that you're not sure of. And so you probably will see when we start doing this upcoming budget, you'll see the regular budget and what a budget with a 10% cut would be. And a 10% cut is like only one wheel going over the cliff. It's not the whole bus going over the cliff. But we'll be presenting those. So where we are right now, and I think this is more important than the regular slides we see because it gives us a good indication of how solid we are and where we're going to be going forward. This is our enrollment trend. So the yellow is how many students we had enrolled. If you look back at 2018, 2019, and 2020, that red and blue line were pretty close to each other. So we could take enrollment and you could take 94.5% of it and you knew that was what your ADA was going to be. Then COVID, and it has not recovered. And so we run about 1.5% below what we were running before. So even if our student enrollment goes up, we're getting less money because our ADA has not matched that. And so we have to look at that and decide whether or not that's going to be a new normal, which unfortunately I see it outside of education. I see it everywhere. Nobody wants to go to work, just like nobody wants to go to school. You have those ties. It's not something that I think is unique to us. And can we chip away at that and get that blue line to go up a little bit higher? Otherwise, that blue line becomes our new normal, and we'll have to go forward with that. This tells you where our funding came from. And so the LCFF is where, if you go back to the dark blue line there, about 83% in 2019, 2020 came from the LCFF. That's our state formula for funding. It's not quite back up to 83% yet, the light blue line for 25, 26. It's still a little bit below that. You can see the red line across there for federal. Our federal funding is almost back to where it was. The difference, though, is we're still getting one-time state fundings. And so that blue line, the light blue line to the right, we weren't expecting one-time monies this year. We got one-time monies this year. So we were expecting to be pretty much back to where 2019, 2020 was, but we get more one-time money. So that is a little bit offsetting, making it look like we have more money than we do. We have more money, but it's one-time money. It's not ongoing money. This one, I think I put the wrong slide in, so I don't know that you have the graph to the right. I think you might only have the graph to the left. But the graph on the left basically shows you the blue is the restricted funds, and that's mostly those one-time funds. And then the red is our economic uncertainties. We keep 10%, and then the remaining balance that we have. So this is our ending balance at the end of each of those years. You can see we were going along. 22, 23 is when we got the huge influx of COVID funds. That's why that blue line went way up, and we're spending that down. 25, 26, we were supposed to be a lot farther down, and then 26, 27, it would be almost all gone, and then 27, 28, you'd see almost nothing. But we got $3 million in one-time money this year. So that moved the blue bar back up, and it'll take a couple more years for that to come back down. If you take all the one-time money out, it looks like the right left side, our ending balance, which means 24, 25 last year is where you see we stabilize going out. So we're looking at that becoming the stabilization, and we're sitting where we are, and so we're constantly in that same place if you look at that one without the one-time monies. Of course, when you see the ending balance, the blue's in there, so it looks like we have huge ending balances. But without them, you can see we're pretty much at a stable place, and as long as there's no cliff, we'll just kind of keep driving along right on that same place. So Fund 14 is deferred maintenance. We do have $29 million in there. That is, the business park has not been paid for, so that will come out of that. Access control, we're going to be putting it in at the park, business park, and then it will go to sites. So that includes everything from card keys to video cameras and gates and all of those types of things combined. So that's a 3 to 4 year process, starting with the business park. We're going to be looking at some systems in January, early February, and then it should be operational in May to June in the new business park. We figure out if that's the system we like. If it is, we start rolling it out on the campuses. And then we have HVAC, roofing, electrical, and concrete and asphalt repairs that need to come out of that as well. The building fund is the bond money, and so that's sitting there for CTE matching projects. We won't know until January, February on what we get there, and then what becomes available for other projects if we don't get the CTE funding. Special reserve is to finish the stadiums, and then developer fees. Right now it's portables, but we can do some other projects as that, but it has to be growth-related projects. So what is coming? PARs and any adjustments to staffing. December, we're working on those now. December, January, we're looking at what was turned in and how we want to take care of those things and any adjustments we need to do in staffing in December and January. After the CTE grant awards come in and project completions, the 2 stadiums, we'll evaluate the remaining funds and review site needs and update the facility master plan in January through March. And then we'll identify what funding is left, what projects are needed, how we tackle that if we are way under the amount of money that we need for the projects that we have identified, which we will be. And then develop, go back one. And then develop regular and 10% budgets from now on, just so you can see if any of those things kick in that we need to be watching for and taking care of, that we know where we're going to make adjustments. Not, it's going to have to be last minute emergency panic or whatever. It's well thought out. We've identified them and we'll see those and have those.
With the Wi-Fi being a problem lately, is that cabling or is there something there that we might be needing to plan for?
Yes, there are options that we can look at for that. Each one has actually been a different project, so the idea that they all would have been solved by one issue is not true. They each had different issues that would have had to have been solved. The one that we're looking at and dealing with right now is what kind of a redundancy can we build in, because right now one line feeds into our loop, and then our loop serves all other campuses. Anything happens to that one line, that's what happened this last route. So how many millions of dollars does it take you to have a second line coming in so that if one line goes down, the other one can come up? We're more likely able to get the offices where they can function if the line goes down by having another one, but having 10,000 students goes on, that gets a little bit harder.
Do you work with the county on that? Because I know they, with E-rate funding, it doesn't fund
Correct.
redundancy. So, but I know that there are options for doing, meeting those needs. So
they will be
something
part
we're
of that
exploring?
conversation for sure. Yeah.
And then, do we have analog lines in the offices for when the phones go down?
4 of them.
Sites?
4 per site?
No, I'm sorry,
No,
4.
I'm
Was it
looking past you for my
FOUR?
answer.
Okay.
4 per site and 3 at the district office. There might be 4 at the district office.
Okay.
I know Rebecca, Heidi, and I have one.
So there's at least phone services then.
Yep.
Thank you.
But that's also been an issue this year, phone lines going down repeatedly, right? So,
Correct.
I mean, I don't, it's not my area of expertise by any means, but obviously we can't function without these things now today, right? So just curious if there's something well, Saturday schools were canceled, right? So that really impacts our students. And
when the system was originally designed, this was and you hope you never have to be sitting here having this conversation, but that was an actual deliberate discussion of what is the redundancy and how much are you willing to pay for that redundancy. And we basically said we can survive in a 2 to 3 day max being shut down, because to be perfectly honest, the operations shut down more than the classrooms do. because you can still have a conversation with a teacher even when you don't have an internet, when you don't have operations of your QSS systems or your financial, everything shuts down. So the issue became, what is the duration you can absolutely do without before it becomes a major problem? We can move people MCOE for operations and some of those things for a couple of days. 3 days was kind of where that ended up being, and going less than that to hit like an almost no redundancies, you were talking multi-millions of dollars to be able to create a system to do that.
Well, perhaps as part of one of the district goals, and I know there was something in there on AI and cybersecurity and all of that, maybe this also is worth adding or discussing further, just because as a parent, we started the school year down.
Yep.
The phone lines have been down at least 3 or 4 times. Wi-Fi's been down. You know, I mean, it's been a lot more this year than I ever remember in history. And so
That's true.
I guess the concern is, are our systems outdated? Do we, you know, and I know that they are outdated the minute you put them in, but are they that old at this point? And so.
And this actually wasn't even our piece of equipment on this one. So it was Comcast's piece of equipment. We do need to remember when we made this decision, it was 5.5 years ago. We hadn't suffered through this and we didn't have a lot of excess reserves or money. We have more options now as we start reviewing this and where we want to be in a year or two and what types of redundancies. We also have one more facility going in at the business park that is not on the loop, which is forcing us to have that conversation. And so as part of that, we will be having a broader conversation of what are those types of things that are available to us.
Well, per usual, this is a great presentation, easy to understand, and appreciate your foresight. Thank you, Dr. Weimer.
So the last piece then is just the PARS update. So 58 people did sign up. So it was 32 certificated and 26 classified. We are currently going through all of those and setting up the schedule for which positions we'll post, which ones have dominoes, which means you hire somebody, then you have to hire somebody else, then you have to hire somebody else. And so all of that is getting set up. You will see actually the first ones, I think one of them starts tomorrow, mine starts next week, and then you'll start seeing the dominoes of those here playing out within the next month to month and a half. And there will be some positions that we are not replacing. And so we do plan to basically come out ahead on this a little bit because of some of those positions that we're going to not be replacing. And that is all for that one. And I'm going to do the other one in speed mode because you've seen it before and you will see it again 2 more times. But we have our traditional presentation slides. So again, I might have skipped over that one when I didn't. But basically, here's our average daily attendance. We were worried that the predictions weren't going to be right and that we would be down again this year. We actually up about 30 students, so that ended up being well. We will be, if you look at this year's freshman class and the incoming class, they're the same size. And as you go out for the next 5 years, they're within 30 to 50 students of each other coming in. So we're going to be in this little bit of a band. But the junior class and the senior class we have right now are small. So we're going to see a jump up next year, and then a little bit of a jump up the next year, and then it's going to be flat for 4 years. If all kinds of construction happens and people move in with kids that are our age, that might change. But with who's here right now, we're going to get those jumps because of the small senior and junior classes, and then it will level out for about 3 to 5 years. Going up washes away all kinds of problems because as you're growing, it is very easy to budget. When you flatten out, it becomes harder. So again, here's our LCFF. You can see that at 180 million. We're going to go fast. And so we're looking, this is the COLAs we already know. I'm expecting COLA to be just a little bit higher than that for this upcoming year, probably in the 2.6 range. But we'll know a little bit more here in January when the budget comes out from the governor on the 15th. This is enrollment. You can see we were at that 94.5 is what I was talking about before. We're at 92.9. So you see that gap still between enrollment and what our ADA is. And then we get the lottery and the block grant. 229 million. We have the 2.3 salary in there. We had the bonus in there, the step and column increases. These are our expenditures, and so again, you are going to see us negative spending because that blue bar has to go away. So we will be multi-million-dollar deficit spending for several years to get that to go away. You're gonna see a little bit of increase between the $29 million budget ending balance for the budget we have adopted, and then for first interim, that's that $3 million in one-time funds we're getting from the state. We didn't have at the beginning. So if you look out 27, 28, you're going to see that it goes from 33 down to 28, down to 21. It's that blue bar going away, that one-time money going away. It's not that we're structurally having problems. It's just that one-time fund is expiring and going away, and we're using it up. So it's going to sit there, probably finish in the 19 range if you go out one more year, and that's where it should level off, going up. Those are just some assumptions for the out years, if you want to know what's in the budget for those predictions. And I talked about the excess funds that we had and the uses for those on the other slides. And we have a positive certification. We can pay our bills, and we plan to be able to pay our bills for 3 years. Superintendent recommends the board, 1, approve a positive certification, 2, adopt the proposed revisions to the general fund budget as submitted, 3, adopt proposed revisions to the various other funds of the district as submitted, and 4, accept the criteria and standards summary review. And that's in the 150-page SACS forms we're not going over.
Thank you, Dr. Weimer. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion or questions?
Quick question. I know this has been a conversation again. The statutory rate for STRS and PERS, I know it increases every year or so. Have they balanced that out? Have they finally figured it out, or is that still a problem?
STRS has leveled out. PERS keeps bouncing around, but not like it was 3 years ago. 3 years ago, there were major jumps. Now they're minor jumps. It still continues to go up, yes.
I guess that's what I was wanting, but it's not as dramatic as it had been.
That's one of those ones where I said when things are going up in attendance and enrollment, those are easy to take care of. When things flatten out, those become bigger issues.
Okay, thank you.
Did we call for the vote? No. Okay, call for the vote.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I forgot. Still that.
Just gotta get to the right screen before.
I'm an aye, Ms. Rohrbach.
Well, I'm an aye. I don't know why I didn't record, but I'm in there. I think I did an error there, right? Jumped out too soon.
Okay, thank you all. That motion passed unanimously. Moving on to item C on the action agenda. It is recommended by the board president that the governing board approve this 13th addendum to Superintendent Alan Peterson's contract of employment, which complies with the board's obligations pursuant to his contract of employment. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
The board is being asked to approve the 13th addendum to Superintendent Alan Peterson's employment agreement. It is proposed that Superintendent Peterson receive a 3% step increase to base salary if he receives a satisfactory or better performance evaluation. The board has completed Superintendent Peterson's evaluation for the 24-25 school year and determined that he is eligible for the 3% step increase, which shall be effective July 1st, 2026, at which time his base salary will be $320,264. Any discussion? Okay. I call for the vote. Ms. Rohrbach? And I'm an aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you all. Moving on to item 17, Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, President Jayasinga, and thank you for the vote of confidence. I really just want to point out the outstanding performance of our athletic programs this fall. I think the tennis coach pointed it out that we've never had this number of section champions in any year in modern history or even forever. So it's just really a compliment to the effort of our athletes, the support of their parents, the support of the coaching staff, the teaching staff, and the administrators at the sites, and just very, very thankful. It was fun to watch and be a part of it. Wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful break. Thank you.
Moving on to item 18, communications, information, future agenda items, starting with Trustee Pickle.
Thank you. Just ditto to what Mr. Peterson said. Thank you, or congratulations to all of our programs, all the students that compete, and all the staff that are there supporting them. I had one question regarding the comment about the assessments for Mrs. Ballinger. How many assessments are given? I know some of them are going to be content specific, but which ones are required by the district as the benchmarks? They do NWEA for the growth, and
so NWEA is in math and English. That's for growth,
right.
And then English has district local assessments, but in some courses they do the NWEA instead of the local assessment at that time period because we didn't want to double up. Math has local assessments, same thing for them. We just completed social studies local assessments, but they just have at the semester. And then science would be our next core subject area. And then we just have them in the core subject areas.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Trustee Coleman. Thank you.
Hi, I had the opportunity to attend the California School Board Association conference with Mr. Valadez, Mr. Peterson, and Mrs. Ballinger, and it was a very informative conference. I learned a lot about AI, and it was good to see that we have AI as a conversation, as a goal, and looking at those parameters because it is moving so fast. Had an opportunity to tour the stadium at MUHC. An outstanding facility. I told the athletic director, Aaron Abril, I said, you need to get a picture of before when it was still a dirt and grass field and lumpy and all that, and a photo now because it is not the same place. I don't know if anybody else is on the board has walked or seen that stadium or that field area prior to this, but It literally is night and day. So that it's, again, I'm going to thank Scott and his group that got that together and made that happen, and Alan for making sure that we had the funding and made that happen. I'm gonna ditto what Alan and Tiffany said about our athletes and the coaches and the families. I liked seeing Sequoia expand on their CTE program. That was great information tonight. And again, yes, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and have a good rest of the evening.
Okay, thank you, Trustee. Trustee Pam.
Can I just remind everybody that 2:45 tomorrow is the grand opening for MUHSD Theater, Stadium. So 2:45 tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Weimer. I don't have anything really new to share other than I've gotten to be a part of the Merced High water polo journey this year because I have a son on the boys team, and I really, truly, I wanted to sit down and write a love letter to Merced High and the community because it's been just incredible to see the staff support. They were at the first responder kickoff. There were staff members with their spouses at the section final and at the NorCal final. It was really, really awesome. And I think it's tremendous to see flag football as an opportunity for young ladies and what that's done district-wide for us. But yeah, I think Mrs. Pellissier, you did a great job in incorporating student engagement as a metric that we now follow, and to see where those numbers have gone this year versus prior years, it's very exciting. So thank you for the presentations today. Thank you for hosting us, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
I'm working on it. It's in my brain, but I am working on it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for hosting us this evening. I always enjoy the goodies we get, and I appreciate that very much. I'd like to second everything my fellow board trustees mentioned about the athletes and the staff and everything else great that goes on in the district. And without further ado, I'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a great break, then a very happy 2026. And with that, if there is nothing else to discuss tonight, it is now 7:19, and I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting.